A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you an RPG review today. Now, it's no secret to those of you that know me that I absolutely adored the board game Talisman, the Magical Quest game. I know a lot of people shit on that game because of the sheer randomness of it, but it is just a game that is near and dear to my heart. I got my first copy when I was in the 5th grade. That was Talisman's 2nd edition. And my friends and I absolutely played it to death when the expansions came out. I begged my parents to get the dungeon expansion. Was the first expansion that came out, which kind of connected to the ruins. And I remember that expansion very well because my cat urinated all over the board. Did that stop us from playing? Of course not. It's just a bit of cat piss. I remember the Timescape expansion for 2nd edition was my brother's favourite. Not so much me, but it was still pretty cool. Didn't get into the 3rd edition. The Games Workshop released. It had like the 3D scenery and stuff like that. But when I moved to South Korea, I discovered the 4th edition of Talisman and ordered it and roped a friend into playing, hoping that he would like it. Jake, you know I'm talking about you, buddy. And ultimately, that became our go-to thing. Wednesday nights, I would go to his apartment. We would set up the board and we would play until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. We made up bloodline rules and shit where if your character died, you could get a new character that kind of followed along. When the expansions came out that basically made the board larger, we had a rule where you couldn't actually win the game unless you had visited each of the boards. There was the crags, the dungeon. I did get the city board, but we never got to play with it. We had the dungeon expansion. We had all the small expansions. I actually play now the video game version because it is an absolutely fantastic way to play Talisman, and I can play it by myself. But Talisman was basically Jake and I's freaking jam up until about the Dragon expansion, I believe was the last one that we actually played with. I never got a chance to play with the Firelands expansion, although I'm pretty sure I sent that to him when I got it, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I was surfing around on Miniatures Market. That's kind of like my go-to RPG space now. They have a lot of good stuff. They have a lot of good prices. They had a sale. And one of the things on sale was Talisman Adventures Fantasy Role-Playing Game. I'd never even heard of this thing. Not only that, it was the leather-bound special edition copy. And this thing was cheap. This was like 30 bucks. So, why not? I love Talisman. Let's see what they can do. Did they make a good game? Come on, go back into focus. You know you want to, camera. There we go. Whatever. Did they make a good game? Well, open it up. You have fate tokens. Light fate and dark fate. Players use the light fate. Dungeon masters use the dark fate, or games masters. This book is 772 of 1,000. Very happy with that. Limited edition. We have a map of the realm. Looks pretty crude. Yeah, fair enough. The board of Talisman had an outer region, a middle region, and an inner region, and you ultimately had to go around the board to get to the middle region, so I can understand why they did that. All the places are here that you'll remember from the game. We've got the city, you've got the temple, the castle, the village, the tavern. Oh, so many great memories. Sentinel Bridge that kind of crosses the Storm River. Just so many good memories. So straight away, open this up. I'm on the biggest fucking nostalgia kick of my life. Credits. Table of contents. Starts with a player's guide and where to begin. glossary of game terms. And then we get this, History of the Realm. This was really interesting to me. Fantastic art, by the way. Because it basically gave a history of this board game world that I had been playing games in for pretty much my entire life. We have the lands, the city, notable features of the city, which if you've actually played with the city board, the jail, the Rogues Guild, they're all there. They took everything from the board game and packed it in. In the village, you can visit the blacksmith, the healer, and the mystic. Just fantastic. Different settlements to round it out. The tavern, the sepulchre, the woods, the middle region, and the inner region. So a little bit about those. Then you have the rules of the game. I thought this was going to be really simplistic. And compared to some other role-playing games, yeah, sure it is. I get it. I love these rules. You are basically rolling 3 6-sided dice, maybe 4, trying to pass a number. It says here, the difficulty test. If it's easy, 7, 8, or 9. Routine, moderate. But if you are creating a game and you don't know what the difficulty test should be, it tells you how many dice to roll to generate a random difficulty number. That's helpful. That's really helpful, especially if you're playing on the fly and you're like, oh, the players want to do this. They want to climb down a pit. I don't know. It's moderate difficulty. I don't know what to set. Just roll the dice. Let the dice decide. Okay, how to spend your fate. Light fates can be used to add bonus die. The game's master uses dark fate. Attacking melee, attacking psychic. If you've played the game, you know that characters with high craft, some of them have the ability to fight in psychic combat. Really cool stuff here. You also have a Kismet dice, which is really interesting. You roll the Kismet dice as one of your die. If it rolls a 1, it gives the Dungeon Master or the Games Master the ability to do something for one of the creatures. If you roll a 6, you can activate a special ability. Armor deteriorates in combat. So you have armor points, and each time you get damaged, your armor goes down. You can fix it. You can repair your armor. I thought that was pretty cool. Don't see that all that often. Now, in the board game of Talisman, you have strength and craft. They're your 2 attributes. Same here. You have strength, but strength covers brawn, agility, and metal. And craft covers insight, wits, and resolve. You have spell points. You can get different skills to kind of round out your character. Just typical stuff. So, how do you make a character in this game? First off, you pick an ancestry. The ancestry is going to give you character modifiers, different special abilities, and you can have different backgrounds which change up who you are as well. You have dwarf, elf, ghoul. That's pretty awesome. You can play as a ghoul character. Human, lay walker. The lay walker was introduced in a later expansion for Talisman, but they're kind of like they know the magic of the land. Sprite and troll. Once you've picked your ancestry, pick a class. Assassin, druid, minstrel. You'll recognize all of these if you've played the board game. Priest, prophet, scout, sorcerer, thief, warrior, wizard. Okay. So when you choose your class, you gain 2 features common to all wizards. That is arcane spellcasting and psychic assault. Every class has 2 common features, 2 common abilities. And then you choose one. So for the wizard, you can pick either Student of the Cauldron or Student of the Staff. You can't have both. And that will determine, like, when you are wielding a staff and roll a 6 on a psychic combat test, you make a psychic attack against another enemy you see within 2 meters of you, and you can kind of improve that. And each class has this. The warrior can get Mighty Blow or Avenger. The thief can get Thief of Prowess or Revealing Knives. It's just a way to kind of flesh your character out a little bit more, which is appreciated. Then, we've already done all of that. You assign your attributes and aspects. Basically multiply your strength by 2 and then divide those points into brawn, agility, and metal. Multiply craft by 2 and divide those points into insight, wits, and wisdom. Choose your alignment, good or evil. And then you get a starting kit of equipment. Now, characters only advance to level 10 in this game. When you get 7 experience points, you get to level 2. When you get 8 experience points, so your experience points, of course, will reset back to 0 when you get 8. Seems pretty low, but, you know, you get 1 experience point for defeating certain monsters. Maybe you get 2 experience points for completing the adventure. So really, this is a way to kind of help the dungeon master or the games master judge how fast they want you advancing in their games. You get advanced special abilities as well that you can pick. Each class has different advanced abilities. So the assassin gets everything as a weapon. Tricks Up My Sleeve, Blade of the New Moon, Blade of the Hungry Dark, Manhunter, The Secret Venoms, Master of Assassins, and Blood Zealot. Of course, you can't have one. Like, for example, you can't take Master of Assassins if you have Blood Zealot. You need a strength of 8 or a craft of 8 to get it as a prerequisite. So, Druid has their advanced abilities, the Minstrel, the Priest. That picture is directly from the game. In the city, the city expansion, this is a Bravo. If you meet him on the street, he fights you for money. Scouts, Sorcerer, Warrior, Wizard. And then we have the equipment. Everything is just in gold here. Always love it when books do this. Really, really helpful. And then all the different items you can buy in the markets. Then we have magic and spells. Spells work a little bit differently. They have a difficulty number to cast. Some are easy, some are really difficult. We have arcane, mystic, and nature spells. So you can see, for example, alchemy costs 1 spell point, takes a minute, and it's a difficulty 11. So you basically roll 3d6, possibly 4 if you want to spend a fate, and you have to get over 11 if you want to cast the spell. Makes spell casting or playing a spell casting character very challenging. You will notice as well the names of the spells are straight from the game. Misdirection. When you play the board game, if you cast that, you can actually move another player. Like if they roll the dice to move, then you can decide which direction they move in. Shatter destroys an item. Sleep, just so much nostalgia. Summon Bear. Oh man, so cool. Advanced spells, these are a lot harder to cast. We have another map of the realm. Toadify. That was one of the things with Talisman. You could get turned into a toad, which would put your... you'd drop all your items, your strength and craft would be reduced to 1, and your movement will be reduced to 1. Always fun to do. And then so that's the player's part of the book, the first half. And the second half is basically how to run the games, how to use fate. Strangers and allies. Huge part of Talisman is meeting strangers. You flip that card over and there's a stranger, and that will grant you a boon of some description. And of course, getting followers. How are you going to put that into a game like this? Well, they do it really well. The stranger is going to have a first impression of you. and you're going to kind of roll to see how they are. And then they're going to grant you a boon. So the Armor Smith benefit can fix armor. The Astrologer can give you a glimpse into the future. So they give you a whole ton of strangers to use in your game. The Healer, the Leper, all from the board game, which I absolutely loved. The Leprechaun, the Sage Owl, the Shrine Priest, Talismonger. Now, followers. Followers have a loyalty rating on them. And depending on that loyalty, they can have 1 to 3 weak benefits, 1 to 2 average benefits, or 1 strong benefit. If they have a loyalty 1 to 3, a loyalty 4 to 6, you have more choices. And then basically you can use their benefits. So they might have social benefits, and you can spend your fate or you can use one of their benefits, and each time you use a benefit, their loyalty will go down until their loyalty reaches 0 and they are no longer of use. So this idea of the follower system, I think, is really good for generating story ideas for the Dungeon Master. And then you have a whole lot of different followers here. The Apprentice Wizard, Camel, Cat, Horse, Earth Elemental, Junior Assassin, Mercenary. And then we have our enemies. We have our animals, of course. Lots of them. Cultists and Outlaws. Goblins. Monsters, the Basilisk, Doppelganger, Manticore, Harpy. Spirits. Undead. All standard stuff. The dragons, elementals, fae. So you can see they have like the threat level. Strength, craft, armor, life, number of attacks, damage, speed, and any special abilities. So the special abilities, the Dungeon Master can use Dark Fate to activate them if they want to. Adventuring, how to explore, all that other good stuff. And then rewards, how to reward your players, magic items, Ring of Protection, Ring of Misdirection, different potions, different weapons, Bane Sword, Doom Sword, Holy Lance, and the Inferno Spear. And then we have this. Now, I've commented on this numerous times in different videos. Include a sample adventure for the Games Master to run. And that is what they have done here. Death's Messenger, split into 3 acts. Act 1, Restless Spirits, gives you some maps. If you are into using kind of figures, you can do that. Act 2, Saving the Enchantress. Act 3, The Deep Dark Woods and confronting the big bad at the end in the abandoned chapel. And then all of your kind of appendixes, your tables, different enemy encounters, interesting locations that you can add, all from the game. And then your index table of contents. Okay. And of course, some pre-generated characters for you to use if you want to. And then there's your character sheets as well. Now, I haven't gone into all the rules. Of course, we had a lovely poster map of the realm at the end. I haven't gone into all the rules. This is just a kind of a brief overview of you. Do I like this game? Fuck yes, I do. Is that mainly due to nostalgia? Of course it is. I mean, how am I not going to like a role-playing game based on one of my favorite board games growing up as a kid. It's just a given. Would I recommend this game? If you're looking for a more simplistic rules light role-playing game, then yeah, and I say rules light because there are a lot of rules, but they're really simple to get the hang of. Yes, I would. I think the lore behind the world is fantastic. It just screams fun to me, and you can always, if you have the game or things like that, you can always bring that sort of storytelling into it. So this was Talisman Adventures fantasy role-playing game. Love this book. Would recommend it. If you liked the video, leave a comment, subscribe. All that good stuff. But most importantly, everyone, please stay safe. I'll see you in the next video.